October is just around the corner, and the MLB playoffs are on deck. I'm joined by our MLB experts Evan Piercy and Carme to discuss a possible World Series matchup between two very familiar teams. Boys, first question is, obviously the world champion Cubs have already clinched their spot in the playoffs by winning their division. Do they have a chance of repeating this year, and are we going to see another Cubs-Indians World Series? We'll start with you, Chris.
First off, I do think that Chicago has a shot. If you just look at the infield, you have Rizzo, Zobrist, Chris Bryant. Your pitching, their stats are, you got Lackey, Lester, Arrieta.
But they have an ERA almost an entire point higher than they did last year.
But their World Series...
Their defense that you mentioned has committed 94 errors this season, which is good for 19th in Major League Baseball. That just doesn't cut it.
Well, that's this season. If you look at the playoff stats and the ERAs for all three star pitchers for the Cubs, their ERA for Lackey is 3.27 in the playoffs. That's a whole point lower. For Lester, 2.6, and we all know in the World Series, Lester's ERA is sub-2, 1.77 in the World Series. They just know how to step it up in the playoffs.
They know how to step it up, maybe by the pitching, but definitely not the offense. You look at the team this year. Last year, they scored a lot of runs. This year, they're scoring runs in bunches. They definitely don't have the offense. Their offense is currently good for 16th in Major League Baseball. In the postseason, we all know that you face tougher pitching, which is obviously going to make the hitting go down.
Well, that's the beauty of the playoffs. We'll see. We got a lot of star guys. You see Chris Bryant right there. I just look at that and I see power. I see them making a deep playoff push. I think pitching wins championships, and I think if you get
but
on,
they don't have the pitching. They don't. Jake Arrieta is not the same Jake Arrieta as years past. They do not have a Aroldis Chapman in the back end of their bullpen. Their team is not the same. The only thing that's similar about them is their offense, and it's horrible this year. It's 16th in baseball. These just do not score runs.
All they got to do is catch lightning in a bottle, and that's the beauty of October.
Lightning in a bottle, you can't bank on it. You just can't.
You can't. I mean,
you can't bank on them going to turn it on like they did last year. Like last year, they were the best team in baseball throughout the entire season.
I mean,
this year they're not.
It's very attainable.
They barely won their division. They had to wait all the way until going into September to finally clinch and win their division. They were sitting there at the bottom of the basement in the NL Central.
But you got veterans with playoff experience, and I think that really, really helps them.
Veterans with playoff experience and a massive World Series hangover. They aren't going to be able to get it done. They aren't going to be able to get past the Dodgers or the Nationals.
Right, so obviously two teams with very high playoff aspirations. Hopefully, I hope we can see a rematch. I don't know about you guys. That moves us into our last question. Evan, start with you. Who's taking it all this year? Who's taking home the Commissioner's Trophy?
I'm going with Houston. I picked them back in February, right before spring training started. I'm going with them again. They have a prolific offense, best in baseball, hitting 280. With runners in scoring position, they're hitting 290. They get better as the season goes on. They got Justin Verlander in free agency. They've updated their pitching, and I feel like they have what it means to get it done.
I think Cleveland gets it done this year. I really do. With Edward Encarnacion, you got Corey Kluber, you got all these starting pitchers who are doing very, very well this year. Their regular season ERAs are phenomenal. All they got to do is they have Andrew Miller. Andrew Miller is going to be the key here. If any of their starters go in the toilet early in the game, they got Andrew Miller to step up. There's playoff ERA.
But Andrew Miller pitches 1 inning.
Oh, no.
He's good for 1 to maybe 2
He's their
innings.
long reliever. He can go in there three or 4 innings. I think he can be a real difference maker if they get in trouble early with the pitching. I think their rotation is phenomenal, and I think the bullpen is fantastic. And I think that's where they're going to succeed is the bullpen.
But they're going against Houston, who has an offense that relies on hitting the ball, stealing bases. They score runs by getting hits with runners in scoring position, and they hit the long ball. This isn't the Toronto Blue Jays that just rely on home runs. This is the Houston Astros. They cover all their bases when hitting, and I feel like no matter how great of a pitcher you throw out there, they're still going to be able to get hits. They're going to be able to get walks. Altuve is going to steal bases, and then you have Springer at the top of the lineup, who's the best leadoff hitter in baseball. Their offense just outweighs anything Cleveland could throw.
I just think that Houston, their playoff, they don't have a lot of playoff experience, and I think that Cleveland, plus if they
What does Cleveland have in playoff experience aside from last year? That's about it.
Last year, that's a lot, and having Terry Francona at the head, that's a huge
Last year
thing.
was a fluke, just like they won 22 straight.
I don't think so.
And talking about that, I'm pretty sure they peaked too early. I think that 22-game win streak is going to come back and bite them in the playoffs.
If anyone can handle that with the players, I think it's Terry Francona, and I think that Houston may run into trouble earlier in the series with the Boston Red Sox. I think they have a chance to beat Houston early.
I don't think the Red Sox do. I mean, you just look at their pitching rotation; they don't win in the postseason.
Chris Sale, I think Chris Sale can get it done this year.
I mean,
Porcello, the Cy Young winner last year.
Porcello was horrible.
Horrible this year with the fact that, the only thing that you say that is horrible is just his win-loss record is so bad. And the only thing that...
But win-loss dictates who wins postseason series.
Not really. Win-loss is the most overrated stat for pitchers in baseball.
Clayton Kershaw's 1-5 with like an ERA over 8. That's good.
If
so you would start Clayton Kershaw
with Rick
or David Price, who's like 2-5 with an ERA north of like 10. You would start him. Because win-loss is overrated.
Manager John Farrell already said that Andrew Miller will be.
Andrew Miller's
David
not
Price
on
will be.
Andrew Miller's
David
on
Price.
Obviously, it's going to be a great race. It's going to be a super tight race to the end. That is for sure. Coming up next, Andrew will head over to the gridiron and discuss the health of the NFL. Stick around.